Hey, what's up guys? It's Carl from ASGI Marketing, and today I'm here with Spartan117GW to take a look at his updated Gothic Serpent Delta Force CAG SFOD-D kit. Now, given how influential the movie Blackhawk Down probably is on you and Airsoft as a whole, we wanted to revisit this kit and take a look at what the operators were actually using versus what they used on screen, which was not super duper accurate. But Greg does have a really cool kit that he's updated with some really neat details, and we're gonna get into it.
Okay, so what we have here with the kit, starting with the helmet, the ProTech is, this is a real ProTech, and it's the older style. It has the white foam liner in it. It has a Setcom 5 headset, which is one of the various headsets that Delta was using at the time. The Bully X500s, there's different versions of it, so getting the exact version is kind of tough, so I have one that's pretty close. You have the old school strobe on here that I actually have painted. You also have the old school Anvis pack and the old Anvis mount on the front, so those are definitely kind of hard pieces to find, but they really make this helmet a crown jewel. And the helmet itself is kind of hard to find, especially in that condition with the white foam. The vest and a lot of the gear, now in the movie they used a lot of similar vests that are on the market right now that are more or less basically black slick body armor. What I have is a replica of the FOST. There's like the NATO FOST version, and this is the Delta modified version. They had a lot of riggers over there, so they basically modified the crap out of the vests, so that way they could have a little pack on the back. That way, if you really wanted to, you can mount the AWS style strike chest rig directly to the vest, which is, if you think about it, that's like almost 20 years ahead of its time. Like, guys didn't really start doing that till like the mid to late 2000s on a standard infantry level. So they were doing that back in 1993, although a lot of them just ran the standard chest rig just on top of the vest.
It's kind of way ahead of the game with some early Swift clip stuff going on here.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like, all that stuff was like super advanced. You also have a leg or charge bag that goes on the leg, so you put like your charges on there. One thing that I don't have on the kit is all the flashbangs. They loved their flashbangs. They were pretty much all over the kit. They actually would feature them on the rifle mags on the gun too. So literally on the magazine for the rifle, would have a flashbang right there. So they would loop them in on the chest rigs. They would loop them in there. Sometimes they loop in smokes and stuff. And you'll see various setups with their belts with old school like the Alice style pouches or any of the pouches from like the mid to 90s, the green ones. So you can really mix and match. I kind of kept it more so with the black kit. They also have a standard holster, and I believe there is a OG Safariland or Blackhawk style holster that's also kosher as well. Now, of course, one thing that we're really looking here at today though is the gun. Basically, we kind of mocked up an M723, which I talked to Larry Vickers himself about it as well. There's another rifle that's kind of close to the 727, but Delta had the 723, so they didn't need to upgrade it. We more or less took a base gun, which was the Classic Army XM1772, which was close. One of the key things I was looking for, because it's really hard to find a gun that's close to the 723, is has an A1 style rear sight and it has an A2 style front sight. Now the front barrel setup on the XM177 is a little different, so we just modified a little bit, put a standard M4 profile barrel on there with a standard bird cage. Now the M723 has two different profiles. It has a pencil barrel, and the later versions had the M4 profile barrel, which is what we went with. Surefire 6P light right here. That one I believe is a kit or modified version, so it's really close, but might be slightly off. But it's kind of hard to get that exact setup. Also, Delta loved their Ready Mag system, so I have a Ready Mag set up on the gun. It's just a really quick, efficient way to reload the rifle when you're engaged. The crown jewel of this rifle is probably the most expensive piece. The Aimpoint 3000 with a very close to correct, if not, I believe that might be the exact correct mount. But yeah, the Aimpoint 3000, that's a real one, legit. Super old school Aimpoint. Kind of really gives you an idea of how far optics have come, because look how long this tube is. But it works, it's great. The MON, the dot is actually not that bad. And of course it screws onto the fixed carry handle there. And of course you have the standard collapsible stock. One thing that's also really cool is I set up, I've seen two different ways they do the slings, but Either they'll use the strap that's on the canteens that comes with the canteen or 2-quart canteen pouch. They use the strap for that, or they use the standard Colt setup and they use a 550 modified setup, more or less just looping it through so they get a more flexible mounting system for the rifle. But as you can see, we've taken a Classic Army XM177, which is already a really cool, slick gun for old school kits, for impressions, just if you're kind of a big fan of that 90s era style. And we've turned it into what's as close as I could get with what I have to an M723 mock-up, which is, the more I look at this gun, the more I love it, because I've been waiting and dying to set up this gun, finally putting all the parts on it. So it's been kind of a labor of love, more or less.
I can hear the thousands of, well, actually, comments just being typed away right now.
But one thing that's cool about the Classic Army base gun, it has the ECS gearbox, shoots about 330 FPS, so it's good for CQB and stuff like that, but of course you can always upgrade it. And it's also really affordable. It's like, what, $203? 203.
203, yep.
Pretty dang affordable. I mean, it's a slick gun, but it's very, very affordable if you want to get into the Impression era. And if you want to put down a Gothic, create a Gothic Serpent kit, not a bad base gun. The only major difference is it doesn't have the brass deflector, and the forward assist might be a little different and also with the rifle grip, but I mean, if your hand's on the rifle grip anyways, it's not going to make a huge difference. So the Classic Army XM177, pretty good base gun, especially if you're getting into Airsoft, or if you want to build a loadout that's also functional for Airsoft, not just like cosplay and stuff like that, then you have a pretty good base gun to start out with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you guys have more questions, hit us up, hit me up. Also, be sure to subscribe to Airsoft GI and Spartan117GW, and also be sure to check out Classic Army as well, because this is actually a really cool, unique gun. It's one of the classic guns that's in their lineup, and in a day where like every new M4 comes out with a different rail and this, that, and the other, it's kind of nice to have a classic piece like this.
Doing that gray receiver before it was cool.
Yeah. So I'm Greg Wong.
I'm Carl, and I actually wanted to tell you guys real quick about 2 promos that we got going on. Currently on the website, any order over $120, you're going to get a free 2,500 count bottle of the new Classic Army BBs that we just got in. Now, we have played around with them a little bit, and we've been real stoked on the performance of it, but we want to hear from you guys. If you place that order over 120, you're going to get those free BBs. Tell us what you think. Additionally, we have a 1-cent deal going live on the website on Sunday. Now, that is a situation where there is one gun available for just 1 penny.
1 penny.
But it goes live at a random time throughout the day. So if you want to snag it, you got to be on that computer. You got to be hitting that F5 button. And we've done a lot of work since we were doing this last time, and we've blocked a bunch of like abusive scripts that people were trying to run, so it should be totally fair and good to go.
Cool.
Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm Carl. This is Greg. We'll see you.
See you next time.